Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going into a full breakdown and review of episode 7 of Khemjira the series, and let me tell you, this episode was loaded with tension, emotion, and subtle but undeniable romance between Faren and Keng. We've seen their story slowly building from earlier episodes, with hints of destiny, past lives, and karmic ties pulling them together. But in episode 7, we got some of the clearest moments yet of how deep their bond runs, even if Faren still tries to keep a stoic distance. So let's break it down scene by scene, and I'll share why I think this was such a pivotal episode for their relationship. The episode begins in a seemingly casual way, with everyday interactions, but you can already feel the undercurrent of tension. Faren continues to be this stoic figure, a man with so many secrets, responsibilities, and burdens that he cannot simply open up to the people he cares about. On the other hand, Keng is still figuring out his place in all of this. He's torn between his loyalty, his fear, and his growing affection for Faren. What's so beautiful in this episode is that the romance between them isn't loud or exaggerated. It's subtle, filled with little gestures, restrained emotions, and small but powerful moments of connection. We open with Jet and the spirits, Ek and Thong. This backstory is important because it connects Faren's world of magic and karma with the ordinary lives of his disciples. We learn that Jet used to interact with these servant spirits and even had his third eye closed by Faren when he was 12. This whole opening reinforces one big theme: Faren has always been the type to intervene in other people's fates, to shield them, to make hard decisions for them. That's his character in a nutshell, and it foreshadows why his connection with Keng is so complicated. He's always balancing responsibility with personal emotion. Now, the boxing match scene adds another layer. Faren suddenly decides to step out, just to buy iced tea, and we all know this isn't really about the tea. This was the show's clever way of pulling him toward Keng, because where does he end up? At the juice bar, running into Keng and Pong. And right away, we see the tension rise. Pong ruffles Keng's hair in this warm, almost affectionate way, and you can feel Faren's emotions flare beneath the sunglasses. He doesn't speak much, but the act of fixing Keng's hair afterwards says everything. This is where Khemjira shines. It doesn't need loud confessions or dramatic declarations. The small gestures, straightening hair, buying an extra iced tea, walking side by side, carry more emotional weight than 1,000 words. And Keng's reaction, completely priceless. He's flustered, blushing, his heart racing from such a small touch. This moment captures the essence of the dynamic. Faren remains controlled, but his care slips through, while Keng, younger and more emotionally open, feels everything deeply but struggles to hide it. Even Jet notices, almost laughing at the sight of Keng trailing after the master with drinks. This gave us some much-needed comic relief while keeping the romance front and center. Later, at dinner, the episode slows down. Everyone's eating pad thai and desserts, relaxing after the event. On the surface, it looks like an ordinary evening, but the undercurrent is that Faren and Keng are on each other's minds constantly. The kids plan a movie night while Faren retreats into meditation. This contrast, youthful fun versus solitary reflection, shows us how Faren is wrestling with emotions he doesn't want to admit. His thoughts reveal the heart of this episode: why the more I try to run away, the more I'm drawn closer. Why the more I push away, the less I can bear it when he distances himself. This monologue is so powerful because it's the first time we hear Faren admit, even internally, that he can't escape his feelings for Keng. He frames it as destiny, karma, past life bonds, but deep down, it's love that's haunting him. The show brilliantly ties this romance into themes of reincarnation and karmic debts, making their connection feel both mystical and painfully human. The turning point of the episode comes at night. After ensuring Jet and Chan are asleep with magic, Faren enters Keng's room. The way the show staged this was masterful. Faren sitting by Keng's bed, gently blowing a spell over him, and Keng waking up to see his master right there. It's intimate, it's secretive, and it's filled with longing. When Faren tells him, "Come with me," it feels like an order but also like a plea. And Khem follows without question, like he's been waiting for this moment. The kitchen scene and the walk to the forbidden wing of the house deepen the suspense. Khem is clearly nervous, clutching the tray of food, while Faren leads him to the red talisman door. This is storytelling at its best, blending the supernatural horror of karmic debts with the tender romance of a master guiding his disciple. When Khem begins to cry at the doorway, overwhelmed by fear, Faren softens completely. His words, "I'm here. What are you afraid of?" aren't just about the room, they're about everything. He's promising, in his own way, that Khem isn't alone, no matter what burdens his past life left him with. And the physical intimacy here is subtle but profound. Faren wipes Khem's tears, strokes his back, holds his trembling hand. These aren't romantic kisses or embraces, but in the context of their relationship, they're even more powerful. For someone as guarded as Faren, to touch Khem this way is almost like a confession. And for Khem, who's always doubting whether he matters to the master, this moment is everything. You can see him misinterpreting it as mere compassion, but the audience knows, it's love struggling to break through duty. The karmic revelation about Cheo adds another layer. We see Khem reliving memories of his past life as Khemika, befriending the lonely boy Cheo, making promises of marriage in childhood innocence. This flashback is heartbreaking because it explains why Cheo's spirit clings so tightly to Khem across lifetimes. But it also sharpens the contrast. Cheo was her childhood promise, but Faren is her present reality. The series is setting up a conflict between past debts and current love, and episode 7 makes it clear that Faren is ready to share that burden with Khem, even if he hasn't admitted his feelings openly. What stood out to me is how episode 7 used food and rituals as bonding devices. From iced tea to pad thai to the midnight fish cakes, every act of preparing or sharing food between Faren and Khem felt symbolic. It's nourishment, it's care, it's an excuse to be together without needing words. The forbidden room scene was terrifying in tone, but the fact that they carried a tray of simple homemade dishes into that space grounded it in tenderness. It's as if love, in its everyday form, can confront even the scariest karmic shadows. By the end of the episode, we're left with so many emotions. Khem feels conflicted, grateful for the master's guidance but also crushed by the idea that Faren's actions might only come from responsibility. Meanwhile, Faren is torn apart internally, unable to deny his feelings yet unwilling to act on them because of his role as protector and teacher. This duality is what makes their romance so compelling. It's not just about two people falling in love, it's about two souls bound by fate, fighting through layers of guilt, duty, and unresolved karma to reach each other. From a storytelling perspective, episode 7 was one of the strongest yet. It balanced supernatural lore with intimate character drama, and every scene pushed Faren and Khem closer together while also reminding us of the obstacles ahead. The pacing was perfect, quieter family moments contrasted with tense spiritual scenes, all tied together by the unspoken love between master and student. So what does this mean for the future? I think episode 7 sets the stage for Faren finally confronting his own heart. The way he comforted Khem wasn't just duty, it was instinctive, deeply personal. And Khem, for all his insecurity, is starting to sense that there's more to the master's care than just karmic obligation. But of course, the shadow of Cheo and the unresolved debts still loom large. We're likely heading into more spiritual confrontations in the next episodes, but beneath it all, the romance will keep building. In conclusion, episode 7 was a rollercoaster of emotions. From the iced tea detour to the haunted storage room, every moment carried layers of meaning. We saw jealousy, tenderness, fear, compassion, and above all, love struggling to find its voice. This episode proved once again why Khemjira the series stands out in the BL world. It's not just about romantic tropes, it's about weaving destiny, spirituality, and human vulnerability into a love story that feels both epic and intimate. Faren and Khem's journey is far from over, but episode 7 gave us some of the most heartfelt and unforgettable scenes yet.